It looks like the umpires are getting everybody together. All the players are on the field, and we are about to start the second Chukker. The score is 4-0 in favor of Palm Beach. Umpire Dave Markell will be throwing the ball in. Newport heading towards the scoreboard, and the ball's in play. The clock is started, and the ball bounces out to Dan Keating, who rides over it. John Wigdahl. And Aga making a nice play. Aga ridden off by Dan Keating. And Jim DeAngelis is on the ball. Jim unable to manage the bouncing ball, but Minnie Keating backing him up nicely. Minnie hitting the ball to the boards right at center field. And John Wigdahl comes up with the ball. John Wigdahl playing a solid back for the Palm Beach team. Jim DeAngelis comes up with it again. Jim controlling the ball nicely, taking his time, taking a hit from far out to goal. Will it make it? It looks like it just doesn't have enough. John Wigdahl hits the ball out over his own end line, and the umpire blows the whistle. In polo, that play, when a defender hits the ball over his own end line, is called a safety. Similar to a corner kick in soccer, a safety is a 60-yard hit some discussion here between the umpires. Umpire Dave Markell will place the ball. A 60-yard hit in favor of Team Newport. Defended. Looks like the number 3, Jim DeAngelis, will be taking the hit. Jim teeing up the ball. With a 60-yard hit, the hitter has two options. He can either hit hard to goal or try to dribble the ball and carry it through the goal. Let's see what Jimmy decides to do here today. Jim DeAngelis with a beautiful hit towards goal, but just wide over the end line. We will have a knock-in for the Palm Beach team. John Wigdahl. John Wigdahl riding Pegasus, I believe. Sends a beautiful pass to Marcelo Cabeza, bounces. John Wigdahl still on the ball. And there's a whistle on the play. And it looks like the umpires called that against the Newport team. So that'll be a penalty 4 in favor of Palm Beach. The call was impeding the right-of-way against the Newport team. Another 60-yard penalty, this time in favor of Palm Beach. It looks like John Wigdahl will be setting that ball up to hit. John Wigdahl, a resident of Palm Beach, spends the summers here in Newport. John on Pegasus, circling around for the 60-yard hit. Nice hit by John Wigdahl. Doesn't quite have what it needs, and Jim DeAngelis takes the ball. David Bullis comes up with it. David Bullis pops the ball in the air, And John Wigdahl can't quite get there. CB rides over it. Jim DeAngelis in the back. Jim with a nice hit to Dave Bullis. Dave Bullis on the near side. Dave marked nicely by CB with a beautiful tail shot. But Jim DeAngelis is right there. Jim turning the ball nicely and is met head on by Marcelo Cabeza. And there's a whistle on the play. That was a close one there. It's tough to say what happened from this angle, but it looks like so when the umpires disagree on the field, there is a third man up in the tower. The referee and the umpires ask the third man, and in this case, the third man said no foul. Jim DeAngelis with the ball out of the throw-in. Jim working his way to goal. David Bullis backing him up and puts it through the goal, making the first goal for Newport here in the second Chukker. His horse was voted the best playing pony in last week's match, USA versus Italy. Always very nice horses for David Bullis. The ball is thrown in. Jim DeAngelis comes up with the ball. Jim controlling. Minnie going up to one. Can Jim get it there? No, Jim is marked tightly by Marcelo Cabeza, who hooks and makes the back shot to the boards. Dan Keating turns on it, but does not have the right of way. Has to leave it for CB. Let's see what the umpires call here. It looks like the call is offsetting foul. So in this case, both teams fouled, canceling each other out. So the ball will be thrown in from the center of the boards. The ball's thrown in. Bounces out in favor of Palm Beach. John Wigdahl all alone. Turning the ball nicely. And there's another whistle on the play. Once again, the umpires disagree on the field and go to the third man. And the call is no foul. So we will have another throw in here. The teams line up. The ball is thrown in. The clock is running. 3.5 minutes left to go. And the ball's popped out nicely to John Wigdahl. John. The ball pops up in the air. Jim DeAngelis gets a piece of it. John comes back nicely, but Dan Keating with a back shot. Jim DeAngelis trying to get it to Dan Keating. Bounces off to David Bullis. David sends a beautiful pass to Minnie Keating. Minnie rides over it. Everybody rides over it. Except for Jim DeAngelis, who comes in all alone, takes a hit to goal, but unfortunately for Newport, it's just wide. Knock in for Palm Beach. John Wigdahl bringing the ball in. John electing to carry the ball. Oh, and the ball bounces. He rides over it, but Marcelo Cabeza is there to control it. Marcelo controls it nicely. Marcelo Cabeza. Marcelo working the ball down the field. Marcelo rides over it. Jim DeAngelis with a big back shot, but no one is there. CB Shearer attempts a back shot but doesn't get there. Minnie hits it up to her father, Dan Keating. The ball bounces out of play wide. John Wigdahl with another knock-in. John having a bit of trouble, but turns quickly, no problems. Hits the ball up to CB Shearer, who makes a nice near side play. CB marked by Dan Keating. Jim DeAngelis turning the ball. Jim controlling the ball. Jim hooked nicely by John Wigdahl. Jim DeAngelis mallet breaks, but he must continue playing without a mallet. Dan Keating now on the boards. Dan with a back shot, but Marcelo Cabeza gets right on the ball. Marcelo with an open back shot to Aga. Aga in front. Marked by Dave Bullis, but CB backs him up. Can he put it through? He does. By Marcelo Cabeza. Marcelo's riding here today in the second Chukker. Jim DeAngelis runs to the sideline to grab a mallet, but the play will resume without him. David Bullis ridden off by John Wigdahl, but Dan Keating is there. Dan Keating with the ball. 30 seconds left to play. Minnie Keating. Minnie rides over it. John Wigdahl, David Bullis, Jim DeAngelis coming in from behind. Jim DeAngelis, can he put it through? He can. Well done. Nice play by Jim DeAngelis, bringing the score up to 2 for Newport. And Chukker. Great Chukker of polo there. Big improvement for the Newport team, but they're going to need a little more than that if they plan to win this game.